Okay, welcome back. We have the management of Dixon Technologies now joining us. The finance minister yesterday announced that basic customs duty on mobile phones and chargers will be slashed to 15% from 20% earlier. Let's sort of talk about this. Atul Lall is MD at Dixon Technologies, the largest EMS player, which of course is now diversifying into so many newer areas, newer sectors. Mr. Lall, great to have you with us here. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Prashant this side. Implications, sir, of this duty cut, if any at all?
Not at all. Please appreciate that the mobile manufacturing ecosystem in India has really matured. And we are of a firm conviction that mobiles being sold in India, practically everything will be manufactured in India. The CBU imports of mobiles is practically just 3 to 4% of the overall sale of mobiles in India. So this is just a duty rationalization. It has absolutely no impact on the manufacturing arbitrage, manufacturing competence, manufacturing story of mobiles in India. In fact, taking a couple of minutes more, my humble request is that the stakeholders should get into the fine print details that how the government has really interfaced with the industry and accepted a request for rationalization of various other duty structures, whether it's an extension of concession notification,
right,
whether rationalization of duty concession of the critical materials for semiconductors, on connectors, expanding the scope of connectors, on extension of concession notification beyond die and mechanics, on aluminum parts. So those are positive things. And the first step, a significant step of mobile manufacturing in India, which is already achieved a maturity stage, now the next stage is to deepen the manufacturing and create the component ecosystem. And the government very prudently has fine-tuned and rationalized those duty structures.
Got it.
Which we welcome.
No, and I'm sure they're hearing you. And point taken, Mr. Lall. Now, for allocation for PLI schemes, if you look at the sort of large-scale electronics manufacturing, that's up 36% as compared to FY24 budget estimates. But if you look at allocation for IT hardware, that is about 50% lower as compared to FY24 budget estimates. Your thoughts?
So we are hopeful and we are in a positive frame of mind. We feel that as electronics manufacturing is concerned, the government has been positive in response and will be rolling out a package for the component sector, and this time for the non-semiconductor component domain, which is again what I mentioned earlier, is in line with deepening of manufacturing and enhancement of value addition. As far as the IT PLI2 is concerned, the scheme is just in a takeoff mode. I think it's going to take some time for it to achieve a certain level of gravitas. So looking at that, I think the allocation has been revised a bit lower. But I think it's just a matter of time. Every scheme, it takes a couple of years or slightly more till the time large global brands start doing manufacturing in India, and then it acquires a certain mass. So I think it's in that direction. In the overall scheme of things, I don't see any negative element, even in the IT PLI2.
Okay, all right. Hi, good morning, Mr. Lall, and thanks a lot for joining in. Well, and the stock price is telling you that, right? The street wants to give you a few years. They believe there's tremendous potential as well. My basic question to you was on the mobile industry. We are talking about value addition, the PLI schemes, a lot of focus out there. Tell us, what is the cost of manufacturing that mobile phone here in India? And you compare it with China. And has that gap narrowed in the last few years? And how do you see this panning out? A very basic question.
You see, there was a disability. And for covering up the disability, any government should be doing the handholding of the industry in its stages of infancy. And that's what the government has done. And the first PLI mobile scheme, wherein it started with 6%, presently in the current fiscal is at 5%, next year is going to be 4%. I think is fairly good to compensate at level 1. But now there is another angle to it, that when we started mobile manufacturing in India, there was hardly any component ecosystem. And until unless we have the depth of supply chain, anything that we are doing at the assembly stage, at the device manufacturing stage, is not beyond a point sustainable. So that's the reason we are requesting that the government should cover up for the disability in the component ecosystem, because our neighboring countries are much ahead. They're 2 decades ahead of us in that particular category. So I think there is a disability there, and that's where we need the package. And also the financial metrics of the component ecosystem for mobiles or even the other electronic parts are very different from device manufacturing. The asset to turnover ratios in device manufacturing can be 1:10. In various components, is barely 1:1. So it requires a different kind of treatment. It requires a different kind of handholding. And let me assure you that once that happens, and the value addition, which currently is somewhere in the range of around 17-18%, goes up to 30%, then it's a huge industry. And not only for servicing the domestic requirement, it's for servicing the global requirements. And I think the industry is moving in that direction.
But you wouldn't be able to put a number to that? The difference, what that was, that is, and that will be?
As far as the mobile device manufacturing is concerned, I think we are almost there. But when we look at the various components, I think the disability would be in the range of around 7 to 9%.
Okay, all right. A good conversation, Mr. Lall. Cost of manufacturing in China has gone up. So I think that has helped as well in that sense. And cost here has probably gone down. And, of course, the hand-holding that you spoke about. Mr. Lall, thank you very much for joining us. Good speaking with you here as always, and good luck till our next interaction. Now,